Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Federico Talks Watches. Now today, I wanted to talk about Baselworld, and more specifically, what I hope and what I think Rolex will most likely release. Now this came to me because I read a great article on this blog called Rolex Passion Report. Now, full disclosure, I have nothing to do with the blog, nor have I ever spoken to them. And they are a blog that obviously follows Rolex, and they came out with what they think they're most likely going to release this Baselworld. Now, I read the article, and for the most part, I agree. And I'm going to talk about 3 models that I would love to see at this Baselworld fair that were mentioned in Rolex Passion Report's article. All these pictures that you're going to see, of course, are mock-ups, and they're mock-ups made by Rolex Passion Report. So I had nothing to do with them. I took the pictures from the blog article, and I'll leave a link to their blog in the description below. But before we get started, of course, customary wristwatch check. In honor of this video, I'm wearing my Rolex Pre-Ceramic 16610 Submariner on a NATO strap. Also, before we talk about today's topic, I'm going to do my monthly Q&A video next week. So head on over to my Instagram account, follow me, and wait for the Q&A picture to pop up and ask your questions there. That is the only place where I will take questions for the Q&A, and on top of that, if you follow me on Instagram, you can get some great content even on the days when I'm not uploading. I'll leave a link to my Instagram account in the description below as well. Now, this year is the 50th anniversary of the Seadweller, and Rolex Passion Report thinks they're going to release a new Redline Seadweller. Man, if this is true, I can't wait. It's just a little red line, but it makes all the difference, and it harkens back to the older models that used to be in the range. This is how the Seadweller was originally released. Now, if this does come out, I imagine it's going to be very hot and very, very difficult to get for the next 2 or 3 years. So I don't plan on getting one anytime soon if it is indeed released, because the waiting list is going to be absolute insanity. But it's classic Rolex, and I think it would be great if they did release it. What I'd be curious to see as well is if it affects the pricing of the vintage watches, the double red Seadwellers and the red Submariners, which were the original models, because those have skyrocketed. I mean, we're talking $15,000, $20,000 for a red sub, and significantly more for a double red Seadweller. I'm wondering if this might quench that vintage thirst a little bit and those prices might come down. But that's just speculation. But I definitely can tell you that this would be a hot seller if it's released. So if you love it and it is released, call your AD immediately. Not now, because it's not out yet, but as soon as it is officially out, call them and get on those famous waiting lists. Another exciting release Rolex Passion Report thinks is going to come out is a new Coke Bezel GMT Master II in steel. Now, there is a Pepsi bezel available right now, but that's in white gold only. If you want it in steel, you can only get it in the Batman configuration or the standard black. This is another one that, if true, would be, huge news. I mean, it would be very, very hard to get, even harder than the red Seadweller. And I think this is definitely going to happen simply because Rolex always releases pieces in a precious metal first before they release in steel. Now, that's not me guesstimating, that's an actual thing. They release it in precious metal first, and they released the Pepsi in precious metal, so I think this year they're going to release the Coke in steel. I don't think they'll release a Pepsi just because it'll cannibalize the white gold one. So they're going to probably keep that white gold only, but this definitely means the Coke is going to come out, if not this year, then next year. But I think Rolex Passion Report is spot on with this one. And I know this is a really hot watch in the collector's market. The values have been skyrocketing. Everybody kind of wants one. I've owned 2 Pepsis in my past. So yeah, I mean, this is a no-brainer. That's definitely going to happen at some point. I just hope it's this year. And once again, it's going to be another really hot model. But then again, that's not crazy for me to say, because what new Rolex model isn't hot, at least for a little bit, before things cool down? And then the third thing I wanted to mention was they're predicting a new Explorer II, same size, same everything, but with a black ceramic bezel. And I was looking at the mock-ups, and this looks really cool. Now let me be clear, I'm not a fan of black ceramic bezels, especially on the new Daytona. I prefer the old one. But I think on the Explorer II, particularly with the white dial, it makes it a little bit more tooly. It's a really cool look, so this definitely spicens it up for me, a guy who doesn't generally like black ceramic. Now, since this isn't a huge change, I think this one will be a little bit easier to get. It's still probably difficult though. And I think with the black ceramic bezels, this would make sense to be released. You know, they just did the Daytona in this one. They're probably going to make it in two-tone in the Daytona as well. So it would make sense that they translate this over to the Explorer II line. Now, Rolex Passion Report is also predicting that the new Yacht-Master I, so the non-complicated version, will also get a black ceramic bezel insert as an option. This definitely makes sense with the prominence of Rolex upgrading to ceramic bezels, but I was looking at the pictures and I don't personally love this one. So while I do think it'll come out, I think this will probably be the easiest one to get. I personally prefer the platinum inserts, but that's just me. I also like the original Yacht-Master one. I'll leave a picture right up here with the platinum dial as well. So I like the new ones, but I'm not so sure how I feel about the Yacht-Master with the ceramic inserts. And of course, another prediction is that the Yacht-Master 1 will get the Rolex rubber bracelet, but also for the steel models. And this, of course, is logical in my opinion because it's already available in precious metal, and Rolex, you know, as I said, releases everything on their precious metal models first, and then brings it over to steel. So the Yacht-Master 1 in steel with the rubber bracelet makes perfect sense, as well as the ceramic bezel insert. But I think this is just one of those occasions where they're tinkering a little bit too much. But it's not my taste, but it might be your taste. I just like the fact that the Yacht-Master is a dressier version of the sub. And by putting in that black ceramic bezel insert, it makes it sportier, so it's kind of competing directly with the Submariner at that point. So I guess to me it doesn't make much sense. Now guys, these are only predictions. I'm not sure if these things are going to happen. I just read this article and I think for the most part the guy is spot on. He also mentioned a bunch of other releases like an annual calendar President and a limited edition Seadweller with blue. Check out the article in the description below if you want to see a full list of Rolex Passion Report's predictions. And let me know what you think. What would you like to see Rolex release at this Baselworld 2017? And what do you think of the predictions? Were they spot on or did they miss a couple? Also, leave a comment in the comment section below. And thank you guys. Once again, don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy my content. It really does help, and subscribing ensures you don't miss out. Also, as stated in the beginning of this video, please follow me on Instagram so you can take part in the Q&As, and you can also take a look at some pretty mediocre pictures I take from time to time. Anyway, thank you so much for sticking around for another episode of Federico Talks Watches, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.